Gasparilla Bowl, Florida.
Sure.
13.5-point favorite against Tulane. Love it. Love it. I don't do the full bowl names, and I'm sure the corporate sponsors wouldn't exactly love that. I just made a decision a few years ago. I got to cut it off at some point.
They're not paying you. That's what I say.
They're not paying me. I can't. When I go up, hopefully, to the pearly gates one day, and I look back at the time that I wish I could have back, saying the full extended bowl names, that would be time that I'd want back. So I'm just going to make the decision now. Just not going to happen. All right, Gasparilla Bowl. Over under, Will. 2.5 references to this being a home game for Florida. Gainesville to Tampa. It's not a bike ride, but it's not a plane ride. 2-hour trip. Maybe it's a bike ride if you're a psycho and into that sort of thing. Florida fans will be represented well. If you're the ultimate good vibes team of the offseason, you have a big crowd on hand for your bowl game, no matter what it is, and you win your bowl game. So a ton riding on this for the Gators, as I'm sure they will acknowledge in any sort of post-game celebration if that comes to fruition. Not sure what the mobility will be for DJ Lagway compared to him down the stretch, but as we know, he won three in a row with an apparatus on his leg. So not sure that it matters a whole lot.
He's just going to he's going to be in a wheelchair back there just throwing bombs 70 yards. Nobody can cover anybody. He's so fun, dude.
NFL draft film is just DJ Lagway sitting in a wheelchair. This guy from a seated wheelchair threw it 65 yards on a line. You've got to see this.
That's some hopium. This guy really got to work on the arm angles this year. Cause he was really having to work with some stuff, and he could zip it, dude.
Craftier than ever. An old man at the gym, just figures things out. It's like, all right, I'm going to have to get real crafty. We're going to have to hit from 16, 17 feet. Oh, little bunny hook. Oh, that's in the bag. DJ Lagway's got a lot in the bag after just his true freshman season. What matters so much more than probably the mobility of DJ Lagway is the fact that this defense has been tremendous. And it's a defense that's not going to see Tulane starting quarterback because Darian Mensah is off to Duke. We found that out last week. That means John Summerall's squad is expected to start former Oregon transfer, former big-time recruit, Ty Thompson. First career start for him. Huge opportunity. It really is. That's a bit of a wild card, and maybe we're going to have some moments in this game where they say on the broadcast, oh, that's why he was a big-time recruit back in 2021, and they won't acknowledge the fact that it's his fourth season of college football, and if you were that ready to be the guy, you probably would have gotten an opportunity at some point. But again, it is a bit of a wild card. John Summerall, also a bit of a wild card, even with a bit of a depleted roster. One of the top, if you know ball, you know him guys in the sport. That used to be Willie Fritz, used to be the leader of that discussion. So maybe it's just a Tulane head coach sort of thing. I don't know. Kind of feels like it though. Like if you really cared about this coaching search, you'd know that Willie Fritz, that guy should be getting consideration. Now Willie Fritz is at Houston, so it's a different story. But I'm not crazy about how Tulane finished the regular season. I watched that Miami game on Thanksgiving night, or at least like the second half of it or something. That really got away from them. They kind of lacked defensive discipline. Pretty bad to lack defensive discipline when you face Army as well. Didn't go so well for Tulane that night. AAC championship ends up going to Army. Florida is suddenly a really bad team to be completely undisciplined against on both sides of the ball, I would argue, but especially trying to defend that Florida offense.
Because any play could be a touchdown when you got DJ Lagway.
I think it can. I really do. He'll throw it from a wheelchair. He doesn't care. I can't wait to watch him again on Friday night. Friday afternoon, I should say. It's right before the playoff. What a perfect appetizer for the playoff. If I could just draw up this schedule, that would be it right there. Give me DJ Lagway being able to play in a Friday afternoon game, not necessarily, I've got to flip over, I've got to have it on the multi-view. No. Let me just be able to watch DJ Lagway with a little bit of extra time. I think DK and Badger, who have been money down the stretch, I think they're going to be awesome in this game. Last collegiate game for Elijah Badger. He is playing in this one. I think he has like one of those 150, 175-yard days, and Florida covers, wins big, 31-10. And if that happens, it's an 8-5 finish for Florida. Any Florida fan would have signed up for that. We've talked about how much our perspective of this team has changed with what they've done really in the latter half of the season. But I'll say it, Will. If Florida wins this game, ultimate offseason good vibes team, I think it belongs to Florida.
Yeah, I need to see because I texted you about this, and I'm like, they need to do something in the portal. I feel, but I'm just objectively here. It looks like the biggest two guys they've lost to the portal have both gone to LSU, which is kind of weird. Like they need to get Lagway some weapons, like pretty, in my opinion, kind of bad. Like I think they just need more guys to throw to
They will.
because we've been talking about it for so long. Like last year it was like Pearsall and some dudes. Like it's about depth at the receiver position. If you have a quarterback who can hit guys anywhere, because you get four receivers on the field, that fourth guy's open. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot more often than dedicating the resources to your big number 1, 2 receiver. So I'm super interested by Florida's path. I kind of just wonder what Billy's cooking because it feels like maybe their names have been in stuff, but I haven't really seen like the big.
Trey Wilson is going to be their biggest transfer addition. Mm-hmm. Trey Wilson basically had a lost season and was out this whole year. So him coming back is really important. He was expected to be their number 1 as a sophomore this year. So that's probably part of it. Losing back, I mean, I wish we could see a full season of Badger and Lagway because those guys were really in sync together. But you're right. I think they will make some big time additions via the portal. That's an area that Florida is not really held back with being able to go after guys and not just from Arizona State, like Badger and Ricky Pearsall, but elsewhere. So, yeah, I think that'll be in the cards. Say it again.
Also, Louisiana, ULL. No, but honestly, Billy's portal strategy has actually kind of been underrated. That's the thing. If you look at the individual players and how they played, Cyrus Thomas was really good. That's the name I haven't said in a minute. I hope I got it right. But
Osiris Torrance.
Osiris Torrance. There we go. And so thank you. You picked
I
up
love how you just said that so fast. You just breezed right through it.
Please tell me I'm right. Anyway, so yeah, no, but that guy mattered. And so point being, I'm feeding into the hopium, Connor. I think let's look at the guys that come over, but his track record has actually been really good. And honestly, Montreal Johnson played well, stuff like that. So I think they need some weapons to be the good vibes team. But to your point, finally, Florida's in a position where they're on this end of this. We remember the last Gasparilla Bowl was after the Dan Mullen thing. They got beat by a very motivated UCF team when they didn't really care because they didn't really know what it was like. It was just a different team that was in transition. They didn't care about that roster because they'd moved on to Billy. And so I think having one of these, Brian Kelly special bowl game victories that's the other team is kind of reeling, you have a better roster, so you just punch them in the mouth and get out of there real quick. That'll help you get to 9 games. That'll help you build some, or for Brian Kelly's perspective, or from Florida's perspective, get you to 8 games and feel like, oh, this was an 8-5 season. Yeah, the first part was rough, but at the end of the year, we had this big win streak. So yeah, I think this is kind of a dream situation for Florida where they hopefully don't have to try too hard. They hopefully don't have to get guys injured, for instance, and can have some of the backups in against a Tulane team that their quarterback couldn't leave quick enough. If that happened at a Power 5 or P4 program, we would have Congress people mad about it. We would have Bills in Ohio if that happened at Ohio State, but we're not going to talk about it.
Mensa got some big time offers. No doubt about it. Mensa got some big time offers to be able to hit the portal. That guy was going to have a market. Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying that if he left Tulane, if he left Ohio State or something, the way that he left Tulane, it was committed the next day, there would be a federal investigation, but whatever, gets Tulane. So point being, you're kind of in a dream situation if you're Florida. So you want to show that physicality, you want to show off the arm with Lagway so you can get some of those portal guys hey, watch this. And so I think this is a great launching point for the next season for sure. And the schedule will certainly be easier next year, hopefully.
If we're thinking about what this can be for Florida, if they are able to win this game, there are cautionary tales of why we shouldn't assume that momentum season to season is real. Could it be 2016 Tennessee?
We already got one of those now.
Sorry, Florida fans, you don't want to hear that. You definitely don't want to hear that. Could it be 2022 Florida State with what they did down the stretch? And then obviously would it parlayed into in 23? Is that the type? I mean, Florida fans would take a 13-0 start to next season. Of course, they take that all day, every day. Of course, we have a different perspective of that now, looking back at it because of how 2024 played out.
Now we can both admire and laugh at them, so you guys can not discredit how good they were in 2023 because it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Just goes to show you wide range of outcomes could be in store, but for Florida to just feel good at the end of the season, it's been 5 years since Florida was able to truly feel good at the end of a season, and that could be very much in the cards if they're able to take care of business against Tulane.